Did you know over 250,000 musicians have battled addiction, and many of the most tragic stories come from legends of black music? From Whitney Houston's fall from grace to the heartbreaking silence of Billie Holiday's final days. Here are 25 worst junkies in black music history. 1. Whitney Houston. The voice of Whitney Houston felt like magic. She could sing so well that people around the world were amazed. Her songs were powerful, beautiful, and full of feeling. But behind her smile and great voice, she was struggling. She became famous very young, and that brought a lot of pressure. She started using substances like stimulants and crack. She also took pills and smoked cannabis. Her life became hard to handle. Her marriage to Bobby Brown made things worse. They fought a lot and both used substances. Whitney later said that using substances felt normal. Slowly, she started acting differently. She looked tired and sometimes said strange things. People began to worry about her. In one TV interview, she looked very unwell, but she tried to pretend everything was okay. In the 2000s, her voice wasn't the same. She didn't sound strong anymore. On stage, she looked sick and confused. She went to rehab more than once. Sometimes she seemed to get better, but it never lasted. In 2012, she was found dead in a hotel bathtub. The cause was drowning, but substances and heart disease were also part of it. The room had signs of her last hours: empty bottles, white powder, and pills. Whitney was once the biggest star in music. She broke records and inspired many. But even with all her fame, no one helped her in time. Her story is sad. It shows that fame doesn't fix everything. Sometimes people need real help, not just applause. 2. Prince. A music genius, Prince could play many instruments and perform like no one else. Every time he was on stage, people were amazed. But all that performing took a toll. Years of dancing and singing hurt his body, especially his hips. He needed surgery, but because of his beliefs, he didn't get it. Instead, he took pain pills. He didn't tell many people. He still looked strong and calm. But inside, he was in pain. In 2016, Prince was found dead in his home, in an elevator. The reason was a substance. It's a very strong substance for pain, much stronger than most people can handle. Near him were pills that looked normal, but they were fake. They had opioid inside, which made them very dangerous. He may not have known how deadly they were. He didn't have a prescription. No one knew just how bad things had gotten. His death shocked the world. It showed that even the most talented and strong people can suffer quietly. He left behind a lot of music that no one had heard yet. 3. Jimi Hendrix. With a guitar that sounded like it could talk, Jimi Hendrix played like no one else. His music was loud and wild, but inside, he felt tired and alone. Fame came fast, and with it came substances. He took hallucinogen, stimulants, cannabis, and sleeping pills. Sometimes he mixed them. He needed them to sleep, to feel something, or to forget things. Life on the road was hard. He stayed up for days. His mind wouldn't stop racing. His heart hurt. He missed band practices. He fought with his friends. His body was there, but his mind felt far away. In 1970 in London, he took sleeping pills and drank red wine. He choked in his sleep. He died at only 27 years old. Jimi's life was like a lightning bolt, bright, fast, and over too soon. He wasn't famous for long, but he changed music forever. Still, he died feeling alone. People loved his music, but didn't really see him. Nobody helped the man behind the guitar. 4. Marvin Gaye. Before the big concerts and hit love songs, Marvin Gaye was just a boy living in fear. He later became known as the Prince of Soul. His voice felt like a warm hug. His songs told the truth about love, war, and life. But behind that strong voice was a man in pain. Marvin grew up in a strict home. His father was very harsh and believed hurting his son would make him a better person. It didn't. It made Marvin scared and sad. There was a lot of religion in the house, but also a lot of fear. To feel better, Marvin used substances like stimulants and hallucinogen. People saw him singing with a smile, but inside, he felt like he was falling apart. In the late 1970s, his life got worse. He left for Hawaii, then Europe. Not for fun, but to get away from money problems, guilt, and scary thoughts. He felt like everyone was watching him. Even in this dark time, he made the song Intimate Healing. He came back to the same house where he had grown up. He lived with the same father who had hurt him. On April 1st, after a fight, his father shot him. Marvin was 44. His death wasn't just sad, it showed how ignoring pain can lead to something terrible. The world cried for a singer, but really, we lost a man who was trying to find peace in a world that gave him none. 5. Ray Charles. Before he was 8, Ray Charles lost his sight, but he didn't stop dreaming. He learned to play the piano with heart and soul. His fingers danced over the keys, mixing blues, gospel, jazz, and country. People listened. They felt joy, sadness, and everything in between. Opioids had him for 17 years. It started when he was young. His brother had died. Then his mother. It hurt too much. Opioids made the pain quieter. He was on the road a lot, alone and tired. The substance was always nearby. In the 1950s and 60s, Ray made hit after hit. He became a star, but he was still using it. Then, in 1965, it all came out. He was caught with substances in Boston. Everyone knew. He could have given up. He didn't. He went to rehab. It was hard. He shook. He was sweating. He had bad dreams. But he stayed strong. When he left, he was clean. He stayed that way for the rest of his life. Ray didn't pretend everything was fine. He used his pain to make music. In Georgia on My Mind, you can hear sadness. In What Did I Say, you hear strength. Even after he stopped using, the hard years stayed with him. He had scars inside, but he showed the world that you can fall and still rise again. 6. Billie Holiday. When Billie Holiday sang, people listened. Her voice was soft but powerful. Every note told a story. You could feel her pain. She gave her heart to every song. Her life was never easy. She grew up poor. She faced racism. She was hurt many times. And then someone gave her opioids. In the 1940s, Billie became famous. But fame didn't help. It made things worse. The police watched her. They didn't protect her. They arrested her. In 1947, she went to jail. After jail, they took away her cabaret license. That meant she couldn't sing in clubs that served alcohol. Most clubs did, so she lost her stage. Her voice changed. It got rough. It got real. You could feel her hurt. But the pain grew stronger. By the late 1950s, Billie was very sick. Her liver was failing. Her heart was weak. Still, the police followed her. In her last days, she was in the hospital. Police stood at her door. They said they found opioids in her blood. She had 70 cents to her name. Billie died trying to be heard. She didn't just sing pain, she lived it. Her songs were full of truth. Her story shows that addiction doesn't mean weakness. Sometimes it comes from deep wounds. Billie Holiday gave the world music, truth, and the sound of a broken heart still singing. 7. DMX. Loud and wild from birth, DMX stayed that way his whole life. His real name was Earl Simmons, and he was more than just a rapper. He was like a thunderstorm, full of noise, pain, and energy. His voice sounded rough, like it had been through hard times, because it had. When he was only 14, someone he trusted gave him a blunt with a crack in it. That moment changed his life forever. When his first album came out in the late 1990s, he was already hurting inside. The music was full of fire and pain. It was like he was telling the world how bad things had been. He spent time in jail, rehab, and court. It was like he was always fighting something. Even when he got famous, the pain didn't go away. The crowd cheered for him, but when the show was over, he was still alone, still looking for peace. DMX tried to get better. He talked about what he had been through, mistreatment, being left alone, being scared as a kid. His music was like a prayer and a cry for help. In his song Slippin', he shared how hard it was to keep going. In April 2021, DMX had a heart attack caused by substances. He was only 50 years old when he died. His death was more than just sad. It showed how real and dangerous addiction can be. He never hid his problems. He sang about them, yelled about them, and still, they never left him. 8. Mary J. Blige. Strong on stage, Mary J. Blige looked that way, but inside, she was hurting. People called her the queen of hip-hop soul, but behind the crown, she was trying not to fall apart. She grew up in Yonkers, New York, and her childhood was full of pain. Fame didn't fix it. It just made the pain louder. In the 1990s, her songs were big hits, but she was struggling. She drank a lot. She used stimulants. Her music was full of feeling, but her life felt broken. Her album, My Life, was more than just songs. It was like a diary. She sang about her pain, even when she felt like giving up. Getting better took time. She didn't heal overnight. She made small choices. She went to therapy. She found faith. Bit by bit, she started to feel whole again. Her comeback wasn't just about singing. It was about finding her strength. Mary J. Blige became more than a singer. She became a sign of hope. She showed that being strong doesn't mean you never fall. It means you keep getting up, even when it's hard. 9. Rick James. Wild, loud, and full of sparkle, Rick James didn't just make funky music, he became it. His hair was big, his clothes were shiny, his songs were loud, and his hunger for more never stopped. But behind the glitter was a man slowly falling apart. He used stimulants and crack all the time, and they took over his life. In the 1980s, he spent money like water. His parties were huge, but not happy. They were crazy, out of control. He couldn't tell where the fun ended and the trouble began. He wasn't just using substances, he was getting lost in them. Then things got worse. The pain inside him turned into pain for others. In the early 1990s, he went to prison for hurting 2 women while high on crack. The star who once rocked the stage was now behind bars with no clear future. He tried to come back. He joked about his past on TV to keep going. But the fire was gone. His body was weak. His heart was tired. When he died, he was just a shadow of the bright star he had been. Rick James left music that still makes people dance, but he also left a trail of pain. His life shows what happens when no one says, stop. 10. Sly Stone. Once changing the world with music, Sly Stone didn't follow the rules. He made new ones. His songs mixed funk, soul, rock, and energy. Songs like Everyday People and Dance to the Music made people feel powerful and happy. But while his music spoke of peace, his life was falling apart. In the 1970s, something changed. Behind the lights and cheers, Sly was slipping. Substances like stimulants and hallucinogen clouded his mind. His shows got quiet. He missed concerts. He got angry at his friends. He began to hide. His band, the Family Stone, felt it too. Shows were canceled. Fights started. The love they once sang about was gone. By 1975, the music stopped. Sly disappeared. Fans waited, but the man behind the music was lost in the dark. In the 1980s and 1990s, he was barely seen. Some said he lived in a van. Others said he didn't speak to anyone. What they all knew, he was not the same. Sly Stone had been a music giant, but substances made him smaller, little by little. His name still shines, but now it's like a small light in a dark cave, a warning that even the brightest stars can fade. 11. Etta James. With a voice like thunder, Etta James made people listen. Her voice was deep, powerful, and full of emotion. But behind that amazing voice was a long and painful fight. Etta started using opioids when she was still a teenager. Once she started, it stayed with her for years. In the 1960s, she became famous. Her songs were everywhere. But off the stage, her life was falling apart. She missed concerts. She got into fights. She ended up in jail many times for things like fake medicine and substance possession. Her voice stayed strong, but her body started to get weaker. She went to rehab more than once. She even stayed in a hospital for mental health. Her substance use was not a small thing. It was always part of her story. Then something amazing happened. In the 1990s, she got clean. She started to recover. She won big awards like Grammys. She got new fans. Her voice still had the same fire, but now it had more wisdom too. Still, her body carried the pain. Years of substance use left damage that never fully went away. But she didn't give up. She kept singing. She kept showing up. The storm inside her finally began to calm down. 12th, Charlie Parker. Playing the saxophone like nobody else, Charlie Parker made music that was fast, sharp, and full of new ideas. He helped create a new kind of jazz called bebop. He changed music forever, but his great music came with great pain. Charlie was only 15 when he first tried opioids. The substance stayed with him for the rest of his life. He would disappear without telling anyone, miss his shows, and even sell his saxophone just to buy more substances. But then he'd come back and play music that amazed everyone. In the 1940s, he was both a genius and a mess. He got arrested. He was sent to the hospital. For a short time, he stopped using substances. During that time, he recorded some of his best music. But he couldn't stay clean. The substance kept pulling him back. He started drinking heavily too. His body started falling apart. He had ulcers, liver problems, and constant pain. He died when he was only 34. But when the doctor saw his body, he thought Charlie was over 50. That's how badly the substances had hurt him. 13. Charlie Wilson. Once a huge star in funk and R&B, Charlie Wilson led the Gap Band, and his songs were everywhere. People danced to hits like Outstanding and You Dropped a Bomb on Me. He sang on big stages with lights flashing and fans cheering. Everything looked perfect, but after the shows, he felt alone. That's when crack stimulants crept into his life. It started as fun but became a nightmare. His gold records couldn't help him. The crowds couldn't save him. The substance took over. He lost his music, his money, and his home. Then he got sick. Prostate cancer hit him when he had nothing. But in rehab, he met Mahin, a social worker. She saw more than a substance user. She saw someone who could still fight. With her help, he did. He got clean. He healed. He found his voice again. He wasn't a superstar anymore. He was stronger. He sang again, this time with meaning. Artists like Snoop Dogg and Kanye West worked with him. He was back, not just in music, but in life. 14th, Old Dirty Bastard. Wild and loud, Old Dirty Bastard, ODB, was that way from the start. As part of Wu-Tang Clan, he didn't just rap, he roared. His voice and energy lit up the stage, but off stage, his life was falling apart. Substances like crack and pills took hold. He was known for doing strange things, like getting welfare in a limo or stealing with pockets full of money. People laughed, but it wasn't funny. It was a cry for help. He was in trouble, but no one stopped him. He went in and out of jail and rehab, but nothing worked. When he signed with Rockefeller Records, there was hope, but it was too late. At 35, he died in a New York studio. His heart gave out from a mix of stimulants and pain pills. ODB's story is sad. He had talent. He was in pain. He had no one to catch him. The world watched him fall. He didn't pretend to be someone else. He was real. And that's how people remember him, honest and broken. 15. Gucci Mane. One of the most important rappers in Atlanta, Gucci Mane's deep voice and hard beats changed hip-hop. But behind the music, he was hiding a big problem. He was addicted to lean, a dangerous drink made from cough syrup and soda. It made him feel slow and tired, and it was hurting his body and mind. At first, Gucci's career was growing fast. He released many albums. But soon his face looked swollen, and he had trouble speaking clearly. He got arrested many times for fighting and having guns. The addiction made him angry, nervous, and wild. He was falling apart. In 2014, things got worse. Gucci went to prison. The music stopped, the parties ended, and the lean was gone. For the first time in a long time, he had to face his life without the drink. In prison, he changed. He worked out, read books, and wrote songs. He was healthy and clear-headed. After 2 years, he left prison looking like a new man. He was fit, focused, and ready to begin again. Some people joked that he had been replaced by a clone, but the truth was simple. He had grown. 16. Foxy Brown. A big star in the late 1990s, Foxy Brown had strong lyrics and a bold style. She became famous while still very young, but behind the fame, she was struggling. She was dealing with pain, both in her body and in her heart. To help with the pain, she started taking opioids like morphine. At first, it helped her feel better, but later, it became a problem. The substances took away her energy and her sharp mind. She stopped performing as much, and fans noticed something was wrong. Then she lost her hearing from a sudden illness. She couldn't hear her own voice anymore. Doctors fixed her hearing with surgery, but the addiction didn't go away. She went to rehab not as a star, but as someone who needed help. She didn't return to the top of the charts, but she did find herself again. Foxy showed strength by getting clean and not giving up. She may not have had a big comeback, but her story is still powerful. Not every return needs a big show. Some are quiet, but just as strong. 17th, Boozy Badazz. Growing up in Baton Rouge, where life was tough and full of danger, Boozy Badazz's music sounded rough because it came from a place of pain and truth. He didn't sing to make people happy. He sang to tell the truth. But even someone as strong as Boozy got pulled into using lean, a drink made with opioid. Boozy started drinking lean to calm his mind, but instead of peace, it brought more problems. He also used pills and other substances. His body began to break down. He had seizures, and his words became hard to understand. The strong voice people loved started to sound weak. He went to prison, but addiction didn't stay behind. It followed him there too. When he got out in 2014, he wasn't the same. His body was hurting, and doctors told him his kidneys were in bad shape. One more drink could end his life. He made music again. He tried to live better. His songs were still honest, but now they were filled with hope, too. 18. Bobby DeBarge. With a voice that was soft and high, like floating in the sky, Bobby DeBarge sang for the group Switch and was very talented. But even before he became famous, he had already started using opioids. His childhood was hard. He grew up in a house full of sadness. Substances became a way to hide from the pain. Fame didn't make things better. It gave him more places to hide. When the music stopped, his problems stayed. He got clean a few times, but always went back. He passed away in 1995 at only 39 years old. Bobby had so much talent, but his addiction took it all away. 19th, El DeBarge. Famous with his family band, DeBarge, El's soft, high voice helped the group become very popular in the 1980s. But behind the fame, he was hurting. His home life was full of problems, and his older brother was already using substances. El followed that path. He turned to crack stimulants to escape. At first, he handled fame well, but soon he started missing shows and getting arrested. His life got out of control. The beautiful voice people once loved started to fade away. Then, in 2010, something changed. He came back with a new album called Second Chance. His voice was still soft and full of emotion. He still shows up sometimes. He sings, he talks. He reminds us that he's still here, still fighting. 20. Bushwick Bill. Small in size but with huge energy, Bushwick Bill was the wild soul of the Ghetto Boys, a rap group that made history. Born in Jamaica and raised in Texas, his voice was full of anger and pain. His music turned dark thoughts into powerful songs. But his battles weren't just in music. He was also fighting battles inside his head. He started using hallucinogen and stimulants in the late 1980s. One night, during a substance-fueled argument, he shot himself in the eye. He lived, but he lost an eye. That image of him, wounded, was used on one of their album covers. It became a symbol of his troubled life. Even after that, things didn't get better. He kept using substances. He spent a lot of time in hospitals. His mind started to get worse. He tried to stop using it sometimes, but the damage was already done. His speech slowed, and his thoughts became unclear. 21st, Margie Hendricks. With a voice that could fill any room, Margie Hendricks didn't just sing. She shouted the truth with every note. As a member of the Raylettes, she sang right next to Ray Charles. Her powerful voice gave fire to every song. In the late 1950s, she became a star, but her time at the top didn't last long. She and Ray Charles had a strong and stormy romance. They had a child together. But love wasn't enough. Margie started using opioids. Ray was also using it, but he kept performing. Margie could not. She missed shows. She disappeared during tours. In 1964, Ray let her go from the band and his life. She tried to sing solo, but her songs didn't become hits. The audience didn't show up. Opioids kept pulling her down. Friends said she was lost. In 1973, she died. The details are unclear. Her death was quiet. Many believe opioids took her life. She was only 38. Her name faded, hidden in Ray Charles's shadow. 22nd, Sam Moore. Used to singing for huge crowds, Sam Moore was half of the famous duo Sam and Dave. With songs like Soul Man, he helped shape soul music. On stage, he was full of fire, but off stage, he was hurting. It started with a little opioids and stimulants, just something to deal with stress. But soon, the substances took over. He started missing shows. His voice changed. He lost the spark he once had. By the early 1970s, his music group broke up. Then came a turning point. In the 1980s, he went to rehab. His wife, Joyce, helped him through it. She stood by him. With her help, he started healing. 23rd, Florence Ballard. Had a voice that could stop you in your tracks, Florence Ballard. She helped start the Supremes, one of the biggest music groups of all time. Her voice was smooth and strong. She wasn't just a singer, she was the heart of it all. Florence didn't lose her talent. The music world just chose someone else. That choice hurt her deeply. It left a mark that didn't go away. Florence started to struggle. She began drinking. Then came the pills. Not for fun, but to make the pain go away. She felt left out, alone, and forgotten. She tried to sing again, but no one was waiting. No one cheered. She wanted a new start, but it was hard. Her solo music didn't do well. People didn't want to hear her pain. She had 3 daughters and often didn't know how to feed them. She tried performing in Detroit again, but the crowd had moved on. 24. Junior Parker. Had a soft, smooth voice. Junior Parker. He didn't shout his feelings, he sang them gently. His songs like Driving Wheel and Next Time You See Me made people feel deep emotions. He came from the South and made a name with his blues and soul music. In the 1950s and 60s, he was well known. He worked with big stars like B.B. King. He had record deals and played big shows. But the music life was hard. The nights were long. Junior had pain. He turned to pills, not to party, but to feel better. He didn't fall apart in front of everyone. By the late 60s, he was almost gone from the music world. Just a few shows, a few songs, but not the same energy. In 1971, Junior died at 39. The reason was a brain tumor, but his body was already tired. The news didn't make a big splash, no big goodbye. He was gone, almost like he was never there. 25th, Sonny Clark. Played the piano like it was part of him, Sonny Clark. When he touched the keys, it felt like the music was alive. He didn't just play songs, he told stories with sound. His fingers moved softly, but with purpose, like wind moving through grass. His music felt smooth, cool, and full of emotion. In the 1950s, Sonny became a big name in jazz. He worked with legends like John Coltrane and Dexter Gordon. But even when he was young, substances had already become a problem. Back then, many jazz musicians used opioids. He loved music with all his heart, but opioids made him late to shows. Sometimes he didn't come at all. When he did play, he was shaky and sweating. Still, his music stayed beautiful. Even when Sonny was not well, recording studios wanted him. His way of playing was full of feeling. You could hear sadness and beauty in every note. But each time he played, it felt like he was walking a thin line. No one knew how long he could keep going like that.